Phoenix is the capital and most populous city in Arizona, with 1,680,992 people. It is also the fifth most populous city in the United States, the largest state capital by population, and the only state capital with a population of more than 1 million residents. Phoenix is the anchor of the Phoenix metropolitan area, also known as the Valley of the Sun, which in turn is part of the Salt River Valley. The metropolitan area is the 11th largest by population in the United States, with approximately 4.73 million people as of 2017. Phoenix is the seat of Maricopa County and the largest city in the state at 517.9 square miles, more than twice the size of Tucson and one of the largest cities in the United States. Phoenix was settled in 1867 as an agricultural community near the confluence of the Salt and Gila rivers and was incorporated as a city in 1881. It became the capital of Arizona Territory in 1889. It is in the northeastern reaches of the Sonoran Desert and has a hot desert climate. Despite this, its canal system led to a thriving farming community with the original settlers' crops remaining important parts of the Phoenix economy for decades, such as alfalfa, cotton, citrus, and hay. Cotton, cattle, citrus, climate, and copper were known locally as the 5 C's, anchoring Phoenix's economy. These remained the driving forces of the city until after World War II, when high-tech companies began to move into the valley and air conditioning made Phoenix's hot summers more bearable. The city averaged a 4% annual population growth rate over a 40-year period from the mid-1960s to the mid-2000s. This growth rate slowed during the Great Recession of 2007-09 and has rebounded slowly. Phoenix is the cultural center of the state of Arizona. The Hohokam people occupied the Phoenix area for 2,000 years. They created roughly 135 miles of irrigation canals, making the desert land arable, and parts of these canals were used for the Arizona Canal, Central Arizona Project Canal, and the Hayden Roads Aqueduct. They also carried out extensive trade with the nearby ancient Pueblones, Mogollon, and Sinagua, as well as with the more distant Mesoamerican civilizations. It is believed periods of drought and severe floods between 1300 and 1450 led to the Hohokam civilization's abandonment of the area. After the departure of the Hohokam, groups of Akimel-o-Adham, Tohono-o-Adham, and Maricopa tribes began to use the area, as well as segments of the Yavapai and Apache. The O-Adham were offshoots of the Sobaipuri tribe, who in turn were thought to be the descendants of the Hohokam. The Akimel-o-Adham were the major group in the area. They lived in small villages with well-defined irrigation systems that spread over the Gila River Valley. From Florence in the east to the Estrellas in the west, their crops included corn, beans, and squash for food as well as cotton and tobacco. They banded with the Maricopa for protection against incursions by the Yuma and Apache tribes. The Maricopa are part of the larger Yuma people. However, they migrated east from the lower Colorado and Gila rivers in the early 1800s, when they began to be enemies with other Yuma tribes, settling among the existing communities of the Akimel-o-Adham. The Tohono-o-Adham also lived in the region, but largely to the south and all the way to the Mexican border. The O-Adham lived in small settlements as seasonal farmers who took advantage of the rains, rather than the large-scale irrigation of the Akimel. They grew crops such as sweet corn, tapiri beans, squash, lentils, sugar cane, and melons, as well as taking advantage of native plants such as saguaro fruits, cholla buds, mesquite tree beans, and mesquite candy. They also hunted local game such as deer, rabbit, and javelina for meat. The Mexican-American War ended in 1848. Mexico ceded its northern zone to the United States, and the region's residents became U.S. citizens. The Phoenix area became part of the New Mexico Territory. In 1863, the mining town of Wickenburg was the first to be established in Maricopa County, to the northwest of Phoenix. Maricopa County had not been incorporated. The land was within Yavapai County, which included the major town of Prescott to the north of Wickenburg. The army created Fort McDowell on the Verde River in 1865 to forestall Indian uprisings. The fort established a camp on the south side of the Salt River by 1866, which was the first settlement in the valley after the decline of the Hohokam. Other nearby settlements later merged to become the city of Tempe. The history of Phoenix begins with Jack Swilling, a Confederate veteran of the Civil War who prospected in the nearby mining town of Wickenburg in the newly formed Arizona Territory. As he traveled through the Salt River Valley in 1867, he saw a potential for farming to supply Wickenburg with food. He also noted the eroded mounds of dirt that indicated previous canals dug by native peoples who had long since